Newcastle United have suffered a second defeat in only 4 days. From Newcastle making contact to sign natural goal scorer with big future, to the Premier League being on the verge of implementing a seismic rule change that threatens to shake the very foundations of Newcastle United's transfer ambitions.
Oh no, this can't be.
To a concerning away form, to the alarming injury list, to Trippier being confronted by a fan at the end of the game. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Bournemouth 2 Newcastle United 0. Starting off, the recent string of injuries has had a significant impact on Newcastle United, reminding them of the challenges they faced prior to the club's takeover. As a result, the international break comes at a crucial time for the team, providing them with much-needed respite. In an ideal scenario, the break could have started sooner to aid their recovery. During their match against Bournemouth, Lewis Miley, a talented 17-year-old midfielder, made history by becoming Newcastle's youngest ever Premier League starter. However, his inclusion in the lineup was primarily due to the unavailability of 11 players. Among these, 9 were sidelined due to injuries. Sandro Tonali faced a season-long suspension due to gambling-related reasons, and Bruno Guimaraes was serving a 1-match ban after accumulating 5 Premier League bookings. The injury woes continued to mount as Miguel Almiron was forced off the field with a muscle problem in the 31st minute, becoming the 10th player to be absent due to injury. Matt Ritchie, who last started a top-flight game in December 2021, was brought on as a substitute, resulting in 7 players who were at the club prior to the takeover era being on the pitch together. Adding to the sense of nostalgia, Joelinton, signed as a forward, was deployed as an emergency center forward, reminiscent of his original position. Regrettably, only Alexander Isak, Callum Wilson, and Sven Botman are expected to return when the club season resumes in 2 weeks' time. This indicates that the injury crisis is far from over, posing ongoing challenges for Newcastle United. Then, moving on, Newcastle captain Kieran Trippier was involved in a heated discussion with supporters following the Magpies' 2-0 loss at Bournemouth on Saturday. As a result, at full time, Trippier approached the away end at the Vitality Stadium, where a Dominic Solanke brace clinched 3 points for Howe's old club, to challenge the apparent criticism being aimed at his injury-ravaged side. Clearly in an emotional state, the Newcastle skipper asked, while gesturing towards his teammates. "So the lads are not giving everything? How many injuries have we got? How many injuries have we got?" Trippier was then ushered away by a steward and teammate, Joelinton.
We have no excuses. We know we can do so much better. But the most important thing is the lads are giving absolutely everything. Every competition that we're in, we try to win. But we fell way short today. And, sometimes that is football. And the breaks come at the right time for us personally, so the lads can regroup mentally as well, and get ready, for another tough test against Chelsea, I think it is.
I know you say no excuses, but there's so many injuries at the moment, it has to contribute. Surely.
No, there is a lot of injuries, and ultimately, this is the reality. Everyone in the club from us to all the way to the top wanted Champions League football, but what comes with Champions League football is every game, every 3 days. So there's going to be injuries. Of course, it's not nice to see my teammates getting injured, but this is where we all need to step up even more, give even more, which they are doing. From last international break till now, it's been a good run. But yeah, there's a lot of games, but we just have to keep going. We have to keep doing the club proud. And yeah, now the most important thing is we all stay together. That is the most important thing.
A big shout out to Nick Pope, who saved Newcastle from a serious humiliation against Bournemouth. Newcastle could have lost by more than 2 goals had it not been for Nick Pope's heroics in goal. Against Bournemouth, Nick Pope had 38 touches, 8 saves, 5 saves from shots inside the box, 3 punches, 3 long balls completed, and 2 out of 2 aerial duels won. It's no surprise he had the highest overall match rating, and is currently joint top in having the most clean sheets this season. Then, with Newcastle lacking an out-and-out striker, it was also a senior debut for Ben Parkinson, who was constantly running at defenders and closing down the goalkeeper. It was something I felt Newcastle were missing up front until he came on.
Ben, congratulations on making your Newcastle debut. Firstly, it must be a really proud moment for you and something you've worked so hard for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, something you dream of as a kid, especially growing up as a Newcastle fan. So, yeah, I just want to thank everyone who's helped us along the way, and especially the gaffer for putting his trust in us.
It's been a difficult couple of days on the pitch in terms of results for the team, but for you to be on the bench in the Champions League and then to come on in the Premier League, you must have really enjoyed the experience that you've gained.
Yeah, definitely. It's just something surreal. Like, it's just hard to get my head around that. A few years ago, I wouldn't have put myself in this position, but obviously I've put my head down. I've worked hard, and yeah, just really proud moment.
What was it like out there this afternoon?
Yeah, obviously it was tough, the result, but just had to enjoy it, just go on, play with a smile on my face, work as hard as I can, and yeah, try and prove to myself and everyone else that hopefully I can get another opportunity.
There are a lot of older and experienced senior players out there. That must have been a real help to you today to have the likes of Kieran Trippier, Matt Ritchie and others around you supporting you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're amazing with us day to day when I come up and train from the academy. And obviously when I've been away with the last 3 games, putting their arm around us, making sure I'm okay, I fit in with the group, I'm comfortable. And yeah, obviously when I came on, Trips put his arm around us and just told us, just come on and play with a smile on your face and just enjoy it.
How long have you been at the academy?
I joined when I was 8, so I'm 18 now, so 10 years. Aye.
And I suppose it's a good day for the Newcastle Academy as well, with Lewis Miley making it a first Premier League start, someone you'll know well, and you had 2 of your under-21 teammates on the bench in Alex Murphy and Amadou Diallo as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's something that we work on at the academy, trying to push players through, and I think it's all about hard work. Yeah, that's all I can say really, just hard work, and obviously it is a really proud moment for the academy. 4 players involved today, and obviously me and Louis being on the pitch, so yeah.
Eddie, after a very tough run, was that just a bridge too far?
Yeah, that was a really difficult game for us. We were short today in out of possession. I thought it was not our finest moment, and we have to accept it. It was very, very difficult for us. It looked early on in the game physically to be where we wanted to be, so we had to adapt. But yeah, we weren't ourselves today.
Did you sense early on in the match that it could be going that way, the way Bournemouth started and the way you weren't perhaps able to respond?
Yeah, we were frustrated with our performance in and out of possession today, all through the game. First half, second half. Of course, the goals can compound that in the second period, where we're just hoping to dig out a result really at that stage where we were under a little bit of pressure. I wouldn't say too much at that stage when it was 0-0. But we weren't ourselves. We weren't an attacking force in the game. We didn't look like we were going to create too many chances. So it was a case of could we hang in there and maybe nick something. But once we conceded the first goal, I thought we lost our way, and it was a difficult evening for us.
Yeah, and with players struggling on the pitch, you probably didn't have the options you wanted on the bench either, did you?
No, I think that was a concern before the game. We didn't have the options to change the game if we needed to, and I think with Miggy's injury that became even worse for us. And we're just going through one of those moments where we're going to be tested. Really tough schedule, a lot of injured players. So today, as you say, probably at the start, it was a game too far for us.
Is there an update on Almiron's injury?
Well, we don't know until we get it properly diagnosed and scanned.
And obviously you had to throw some young players in there as well. Probably not the circumstances you wanted to do that in, but they gave all they could.
Yeah, no criticism of the young guys that came onto the pitch today, Lewis Miley and Ben Parkinson. I thought they did well. But as you say, a tough environment for them because Bournemouth played well today, we didn't, and we suffered as a consequence.
And even when you look at a challenge that like Sean Longstaff received and he went down, probably under normal circumstances, you might have liked to take him off as a precaution?
There's possibly a couple of players we, in an ideal world, would have taken off earlier today, but we couldn't, and we weren't in a position to do that, and that's sort of a sign of how stretched we are.
At the end of the match, there's a little confrontation between Kieran Trippier and one of the supporters. Kieran sort of said that he was just trying to explain to the supporters not to panic. You're in a good position overall. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that, and I just think there's high emotions at the end of games. We really appreciate our away support. Everyone is valued, and we're just disappointed with the result.
How do you go forward now? Are you really pleased to have this international break to at least give players a chance to recuperate?
Well, I think it's come at a good time for us, but I don't necessarily think it's going to mean a flood of players back. We have long-term injured players, so hopefully we can get 1 or 2. Bruno's suspension was obviously a painful one for us today. We really missed him, as we knew we would. So we'll wait and see.
How do you cope with that then? If you're not going to get players back and it's probably a long way till the transfer window, how are you going to now pick up from this?
Well, we don't have a choice. We have to. And we have to be accountable for our performance levels individually and collectively. And today we were off those high standards that we've set.
Then, according to a new transfer report from UOL via Sport Witness, Newcastle are interested in signing Brazilian youngster Marcos Leonardo, who is currently plying his trade at Santos, and have even made first contacts over a possible deal. It is claimed that Newcastle is the latest club to join the race for Leonardo's signature, with Santos hoping to secure a substantial fee of around £17.4 to £21.8 million for the player. Leonardo was close to a move to Serie A side Roma during the previous summer transfer window, but remained at Santos due to the departure of other players, such as David Washington's transfer to Chelsea. While Leonardo may not be widely recognized by the mainstream footballing public, his potential signing could generate significant excitement for Newcastle, as young Brazilian forwards often bring a sense of intrigue and promise. The statistics speak volumes about Leonardo's impact at Santos, as he has already amassed an impressive record of 54 goals and 11 assists in 161 appearances. He has also demonstrated his prowess on the international stage, scoring 7 goals in as many appearances for Brazil's under-20 team. Renowned football talent scout Jacek Kulig has praised Leonardo in the past, describing him as a natural goal-scorer and predicting a bright future for the youngster. As a primarily center-forward, Leonardo would provide immediate competition for Newcastle's current attacking duo of Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson. Considering Wilson's age of 31, the Brazilian talent could also be seen as a potential long-term replacement for him in the team. This transfer speculation is certainly one to keep an eye on, given Leonardo's promising profile and the potential impact he could have at Newcastle United. Then, finally, Newcastle United's hopes of securing the services of Ruben Neves on loan in January could be dashed, as the Premier League is set to implement a rule change that would prevent such a transfer. Eddie Howe, the manager of Newcastle United, recently expressed his admiration for Neves, acknowledging that he liked the player during his time at Wolverhampton Wanderers. However, when questioned about the potential Premier League regulation, Howe remained tight-lipped, refraining from commenting on the matter. The upcoming vote, scheduled for later this month, will determine whether a temporary ban on loan signings between clubs with the same ownership will be enforced. To pass the proposal, at least 14 out of the 20 Premier League teams need to vote in favor of it. The likelihood of the ban being implemented seems high. Should the ban be approved, it would effectively prevent Newcastle United from acquiring Neves or any other players on loan from the Saudi Pro League. This restriction stems from the fact that the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, which owns Newcastle United, also holds stakes in several Saudi clubs, including Al Hilal, with whom Neves recently signed a £47 million deal after his departure from Wolverhampton Wanderers. The ownership connections between Newcastle United and these Saudi clubs would make such loan transfers ineligible under the proposed rule change. And if you want to know about the massive redevelopment of St. James's Park, click the video on your screen now.